What's your name? Where do you work?
Tellor.
Yeah, we work here at Tellor. We're Brenda and Nick and Mike went to wash the ashes off of his forehead.
So let's start about how did you meet each other, guys?
Yeah, so Brenda and I actually worked together starting in like 2011. We worked at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. She was my supervisor there, so we did the employment numbers here in the U.S. So we were statisticians. Yeah, and I moved on. I left and I worked at the CFTC, so the regulator for crypto and derivatives here in the U.S. And then I left in 2017 to start Daxia, which was our former startup. We were doing a derivatives protocol on Ethereum, and I called Brenda and convinced her to come on with me whenever I did that, because we got a lot of good stuff done. We wrote research papers together, and then in I think November of 2017, I met Mike at a local Bitcoin meetup here, and then we've all just been working together since. So, yeah.
So did you start the project in 2017, right?
Yeah, the derivatives project was in 2017. So that was like when I officially left my job to be full-time crypto, which was good.
Yeah, this is cool. And so, and then after the derivative projects, did you start the Tellor, no? Oracle project?
Yeah, so that was kind of how we got into it. So
how did you switch from one project to another one, and why?
Well,
bingo. Yeah.
Mainly it was because when we built the derivatives protocol, we needed a price feed, and the price feed that we were using was centralized, and we needed something decentralized that was more secure, because that was our sale point, that we were a decentralized derivatives protocol. And we didn't have that. So when we started looking around and we couldn't find anything, that's when we started developing Tellor. And it was just going to be a price feed for our derivatives protocol. And then it just really turned into its own because people were more interested in our Oracle design than the derivatives protocol. So that's how we got started.
And when did you start it? There were also other Oracle's projects, right?
Right.
And I mean, based on the Oracles that were there in the market, you decide to develop another one, no? Why?
In August 2018?
Yeah, I mean, we started building it in June of 2018, and not a whole lot was launched, especially, like just as far as that fit our sort of level of decentralization that we were after. Really the only thing that was sort of available was Augur, but Augur, as a few other derivatives protocols have shown, is very difficult to sort of use in that context. They make some different. So we sort of took some of what we learned from looking at their protocol and made some different design choices, and created something that was decentralized but worked a little bit better for the derivatives piece we felt.
Great. So basically, it started as a tool for your project and then evolved in a product per se. That's interesting. And what are the main differences between you, for example, and other Oracle services or Oracle products that are in the ecosystem right now? Because now we have not so many, but we have few of them that basically, in some sense, saturate the market.
Sure. So, I mean, I guess I can just go over. There's different designs, I guess you could say. It's almost on a case-by-case basis as far as how they're all secured. So the way that Tellor works, kind of 101 level, is so we have an anonymous group of, we call them miners. They're data providers. So anybody can come, you stake a little bit of money, and then you compete a proof of work to kind of fulfill data requests on our network. So if somebody requests the price of Bitcoin, somebody requests the price of Ethereum, who gets to kind of come to our smart contract and say what that is and get the reward. is based upon kind of a proof of work computation and the fact that you staked a little bit of our token. Other models, so like Maker, for instance, they have an Oracle in place, and they just have, it's basically a multi-sig wallet. You have 15 parties, and you all you basically take the median of what those 15 people report. But it's sort of whitelisted and everybody's known. The way that Chainlink works on a very, very high level overview is you have parties who come, they stake a whole bunch of money, and they get whitelisted by the Chainlink team to be able to be a data reporter, and then they provide data to requests. So it's just a little bit different of a model in the sense that our reporters are sort of these anonymous people who are competing at something. So that's like the high level overview. And then Augur, as you guys know, that's the prediction market. Mm-hmm. So you can use a prediction market. Let's bet on what the price of Bitcoin is, and then use a reputation voting system. So there's a whole lot of different models. If you have any questions about the other ones,
there's like the marketplace ones.
Yeah, marketplace. Well, yeah. So and then the other model you've seen a few times is Zap and Band, for instance. If you've heard of them, they would have. I would start posting a price feed. So like, hey guys, here's the Ethereum price feed, and then I would start charging you to read that value.
Very simple approach.
Yeah, very simple approach, but it's so there's a whole bunch of different requests, and then how you just sort of keep it. There's different levels of sort of decentralization. If you agree that there can be different levels of decentralization, then that's how it sort of works, and which ones are sort of crypto economically secured, and which ones are more secured by, say, the reputation or the whitelisting of parties is kind of the key differences.
Okay. And me has a developer, for example, why should I opt for your system instead of going, for example, for Chainlink? So which are the competitive advantage that I may have using you instead of, I just named Chainlink, but I can name Oracleize or Provable or whatever.
I guess censorship resistance. That's like the key that we were really harping on, is that, so like ours is going to be slower and more expensive. It just is. That's how things work. But if you want it to actually be decentralized and ultimately censorship resistance, which we believe is why you're building on these networks to begin with, mm-hmm. Then you'll be okay with a little bit of a performance hit. Everybody in the blockchain world, like if somebody comes and says, we built this new V3 blockchain that has 1 million transactions per second and is completely secure, like, you don't even need to look into it. You just call bullshit on it. But then whenever it comes to oracles, a lot of people are like, hey, we have this oracle that can instantly provide you values from off-chain in a decentralized way. Well, they can't. It just doesn't work that way. You have to, there's always going to be performance hits, and there's going to be little weird nuances that you have to deal with. And that's what we're trying to educate people on, is that, listen, oracles are slow, but they're possible now. You can make them secure, and you can get off-chain price feeds, and that's what we're doing. So
great.
And based on the different models that you described about the oracle, the data set that you are going to provide is the same one of the others, or there are some data sets, for example, that you can provide than the others, better than the others, or different data? Because this is an important point. What kind of data oracles are able to provide today, and which kind of data that the oracle provide are really decentralized?
Yeah, I think if I understand your question correctly, I think most of them right now are just focused on pulling like API prices. That's sort of just across the board what people are trying to get working first on these networks. Then the next sort of area for Tellor and for other ones, it's just creating these more robust price feeds. Like, I think like there's always a difference between, say, like if you ask for the price of Bitcoin, there's a difference in the price of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin right now at Coinbase, the price of Bitcoin on Coinbase according to their API, and the price of Bitcoin that somebody will trade with you at. Like those are all different answers, and which one you're sort of bringing back, it's an important question for people to sort of know the differences. So yeah, it's really just our system's flexible enough that we have enough ways that we can work in with the demands of the user. If you wanted something a little bit more complex, but I think in the future, what you're going to see are these more of the robust things that don't even have the centralization, just like listen, if Coinbase's API goes down, your value fails. You can just query like the price of Bitcoin according to Tellor miners or something. And that's definitely a much more robust feed for your contracts.
Yeah, actually decentralizing the source of the data, not just the delivery of it.
Yeah, but for specific queries, we saw in the past that people needs, for example, authenticated API request. So do you, for example, offer this kind of possibility, or right now not?
No, so we don't. But that's like sort of the problem. So, like you have like, you need an authenticated API input, but then you have like a lot of times these people will have centralized services bringing it to them. So it's like, for ours, like if you request the price of an API on the Tellor system and it comes back wrong, you actually get disputed. So the person that provided that data, they'll get penalized very heavily for lying to you. So it's more secured in a different fashion than these hardware technical pieces.
Yeah, I'm asking because I saw a lot of smart contracts that use protected APIs for working, especially dApps or private providers that needs to be sure that the price or any data was secure enough. But obviously, decentralization and authenticated or trust stuff is an anti-pattern, So let's shift a little bit the discussion to another topic, always related to you guys. You have interesting cryptoeconomics. I mean, you have a token, you have some sort of layer 2 mining process. So we would like to understand why you choose to secure your system using proof of work and not other system, and at the same time, why you choose to that crypto economics that I think recently changed a little bit.
I'm curious to see why you think it changed a little bit now.
I think he's talking about inflation reduction news.
Yeah, I mean that the specific. I mean, change it, not change it. Very big, but few parameters of the
inflation. To reward for the nodes, the miners.
Well, I think so why proof of work was the first piece. So you could use proof of stake in it, but we already sort of have this token weighted system for voting on disputes. So you would assume that the people voting and the people staking would actually be the same person. So like it would just be almost like you have you're overlapping in people. Whereas proof of work, that's actually a really beautiful piece of kind of all of these systems, even if with Ethereum and you're looking at the Prague POW debate, they're actually like different people. These are like almost neutral third parties that are coming in and validating your system, which is like a really cool thing about them. Like I think you have a problem whenever you introduce, especially right at the beginning, whenever the team holds the vast majority of tokens, like whenever you have staking and the people who are staking are also the people voting and they're also the people receiving all of the rewards. And, it's just this weird cyclical feedback.
Conflicting, yeah.
Yeah, whereas like with proof of work, like we were actually shocked, like within the first 2 months of our system being live, like we actually lost the ability to mine our own coin because so many people came on board trying to mine it. So it was like, it sort of just completely gets rid of that piece of it really fast, which is super cool. And yeah, so that was one of the big reasons proof of work. I think if we eventually, if there is a reason to move to staking for some sort of speed thing, I think we'd be open to it, but you'd really have to, you know, maybe if you have just one ASIC miner dominating or something, but I think there's different arguments for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and right now miners need the TRB tokens for to be a miners, right? And people that need queries to query data, they don't need to pay in a TRB, or they have to.
So
Well,
you can answer it. You know.
They do need the TRB. We do have a intermediate contract that we offer our users where they can just use ETH and it automatically buys the TRB for them. But yes, they do need TRB.
And with the Ethereum that you collect, you are going to buy in IDEX TRB, or you are going to collect TRB in another way?
Currently, we just fund the contract.
We just fund it. If you want to use TRB, we're willing to sell it to you really cheap. You know, if you're willing to use the TRB to request the data, you go for it. You know, we're almost like willing to subsidize that a little bit just because it's awesome to see people actually using it.
Yeah. Do you have in plan to put TRB also on Uniswap? I mean, a lot of developers already have integration to Uniswap, so it will be easier, for example, to get TRB for paying queries using Uniswap, for example.
I think we're already there now.
Yeah, we're up on Uniswap. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that one of the users put put the TRB, because a lot of discussion in your chat is why you are not listing in other exchange. But honestly, I like your strategy to be listed only in IDEX until you don't have a real product on the market. I like it. And
well, you can go. So I wrote an article in our Medium. You can go read it. It's called "The Delusion of Liquidity." Yeah, it's a good one if you're interested in kind of the liquidity discussion.
And can you explain, guys, the involvement of the counterparties like MakerDAO and Binance in the projects?
So yeah, they're sort of just investors / advisors to us at this point. You know, they had given us money over the past 2 years, and we continue. We interact with them kind of on a monthly or weekly basis, and just talk to them about what we're doing. And usually it's pinging for them for contacts in the space. It's really great to have, and they're very supportive. So, you know, we don't expect, you know, like a lot of people are all like, oh, so this means like Binance is listing you guys next week. And it's like, no, guys. You know, it's a lot of these projects, like, believe it or not, like people actually, a lot of these projects are really good people. They actually believe in the space and want to invest in good projects in the space, and did so. So it's, you know, they actually want us to succeed and they want us to do really well and move the space forward. So that's why they invested in us.
Yeah, and another question related to the token economy is, if a miner, for example, need 1,000 TRB to be a miner in your system, if this TRB is going to appreciate its value, I mean, let's say that one TRB tomorrow will be $100, let's say.
Sure, that would be awesome.
So, yeah, I know.
The stake would be very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, stake it will be really, really expensive. And do you think that this is going to transform this system more a centralized system?
I mean, maybe, but at the same point, like right now, even so, like we have like a $4 or $5 price. So it's like $5,000 to become a miner, which it's a lot. But then at the same time, like you need like dozens of GPUs to be able to compete. So, you know, like you're hard, like you're not a small miner at this point who's going to just come on with one GPU and start competing. You got to sort of have an investment of hardware that definitely exceeds that of your staking piece. So, and I think like obviously if we shot up to $100, like the difficulty is going to go up so much that, you know, you'll probably just you'll have to be buying ASICs or something at that point, at which point like the staking piece is minimal, really. So yeah, it's one of those pieces where, you know, I think
a question that comes from the community is, do you have a business model today, a revenue model as a Tellor, I mean?
Yeah, we have a dev share. But every 10 minutes we take 10% of the mined tokens. So that's our revenue stream. That's how we keep the lights on.
10% of the mined tokens. Okay.
Right.
Great. And another question of the community, because the last week was not so good week for the DeFi, so a lot of X, I mean not so much, but 2 or 3 was very important. And basically what happened is that we discovered that the DeFi is not so decentralized. So the developers should, in my opinion, it's correct at the very beginning, should have some sort of control of their platforms. Otherwise, they can drift away from the goal or generate problems. So what about you? So which kind of control do you have in the platform? I mean, do you have any admin keys, or do you have any sort of kill switch or whatever?
Yeah, we have full control. We're very open about it. This was like, so we launched it with the ability to upgrade the contracts, and the current plan is that whenever we get a user that relies on us for a decentralized price feed, we're going to throw it to the 0 address. And that's when that's going to happen, as soon as that hits. So, because we didn't want to just create a token and then is an unusable product and we couldn't upgrade it. So we wanted to, but yeah, no, we definitely think that it's a big problem in your space, almost just the fact that people are hiding it, more so than anything else, just because it's like, it's fine if you have an admin key. Like a lot of these systems, like if you launch, like there's a good chance you're going to need to upgrade your system in the first few months anyway, because there's going to be some sort of unforeseen consequence. So it's okay having the admin key, but just let people know that, so they don't put a whole lot of money in. I think that if DeFi, like, hey, this project launched 2 weeks ago, let's not throw, $20 million at it. Let's take it slow and see if it can scale over a few months or something, and I think just being smarter in general would be cool.
And being willing to give it up. I think that's very important.
Great.
Yeah. Part of our plans to give it up, and it's both scary and exciting when we do that. So that's our intention, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Because eventually we'll be able to upgrade anyway through a community vote.
Through the governance.
And that's that's the plan. But we do need a user that it's there, that it's tested, that everything's running well, and then we're like, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Our job here is that, but to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think that decentralization of a platform is a measure of the maturity of the platform. Because if you are able to be really decentralized, means that you are very mature, because you are already battle tested, and at the same time you have all the complexity managed and handled in the very right way. So we talk about plans that you have. So what's the direction that you want to go? So basically, what's your roadmap for the next months?
So you briefly mentioned earlier the mining reward decrease. That's the next big thing on our roadmap. That is, we're looking to do at the beginning of March. And so for those of you that don't know, we would be reducing the mining rewards from 5 to 1. And what we would do, it wouldn't be a halvening event. It would be, we're spreading it out over the course of 1 full year.
Okay.
Incrementally per block. So each block, it's a very, very, very small decrease in the mining reward. And so what that would effectively do is reduce our inflation from 140% to 17%. And so that's a big event, and we think it will be really healthy for our network. after that, and we're currently developing this right now and very active on it, is our alternate chain structure. So how do we bring Tellor to one of these side chains like Matic, Cosmos, Harmony, Bitcoin, or whatever it is we want to do in the future? And so we're currently developing that. We've shared that with our community. Basically, we're looking at ways to utilize a proof of stake model to have people staking. They stake their coins over on Ethereum and they're bridged over to Matic or one of these other side chains, and then those staked coins are now the validators for the Oracle over on the side chain. So that's something that we're really excited about doing very soon. That's basically what we're working on right now. That I would say that's also part of like V2 of Tellor. That's probably the first upgrade for V2 of Tellor, but further down the road, there's other things that we want to work on for version 2 of ours, and we don't have anything really official to say about what that is yet. Mm-hmm. But things we're looking at are, increasing the number of data points per block that we could do.
Yeah.
And maybe speeding up the block times and not being 10 minutes, but faster where we can. Things like that. Maybe some security changes or governance changes, multiple round disputes, those kind of things that we're looking to create some quality of life improvements for Tellor. So...
Yeah, and it seems that based on this version number 2, Oracle will be just one part of Tellor, or it will remain the main one. I mean, when you described before the pegging solution, like similar to other solution in the market today, so the staking in the other chain.
Oh, I think, yeah. So it's. Oracle's a broad term.
Yeah.
I think it's still technically all under the Oracle blanket. But yeah, you can use Tellor for things such as, eventually if you move from just allowing numerical data, and you can allow like bytes data to pass back and forth, you can be sort of a bridge from chain to chain where you have, you're passing a Bitcoin block header back and forth, or you can do much cooler things where you're validating off-chain computation. You don't have to be just limited to kind of a price feed Oracle, which is what we were sort of built for originally. So, but that's more on like depending on what users need eventually, and where it goes. Because I think it's Ethereum, since we're still mainly on Ethereum now, DeFi is sort of eating up Ethereum at the moment, and that's what's at the moment that's what's needed, as you guys know.
Yeah, there is also another question similar to something that you were saying before, and it's oracles today are focused mainly on Ethereum blockchain. And are you going to develop some oracles or something to other blockchain? And why oracles are not in other blockchain but are focused on the Ethereum ones?
Yeah, I think it's like a chicken egg problem. Where like the other chains, like we're willing to go over to the other chains if we see a need for oracles over there. It doesn't make sense for us to put in the development work if there's not really any demand on these other chains. So and then at the same time, it's hard to get people to go build on those other chains if there's no oracles. So like we don't want to go waste our time over there, and so we're in talks with some other chains, because the biggest thing we also want is, we want to go into other chains that are decentralized. Because, if you're one of these centralized other chains, it doesn't really make sense to have a decentralized Oracle. Like, just go use Oracleize or some centralized service. It doesn't make sense for us. So.
Yeah, I agree. And one question from my side is, what kind of players in the market should be your customers? So what are the customers that you want to have?
Yeah, a derivatives protocol would be cool. Somebody build our old, that's sort of what we built it for. Hopefully we're talking with some derivatives people. We think stable coins are another really great use case. It's currently out there. It just kind of the DeFi pieces currently at the moment, we'd love to see them eventually switch over to the lending platforms. If you need a decentralized Oracle, we want to be that choice. We want people to sort of rework some of their systems that require these super instant oracles into things that make a little bit more sense, and those are really our ideal customers. So yeah, I think eventually we'll get there. It's just more of like, what products do we think will be built on Ethereum, and we have lots of different opinions on that. So
great. And I have a question on my side. To be honest, two questions. The first one is thinking about targets that you want to reach. How many users or integrators for you will be a good target for each? I mean, 100, 1,000, 1 million, obviously. But for the first milestone or for the first achievement, you for sure have set some target to reach. So just to understand how much is used currently your platform and what you will expect in the near future.
Sure. I mean, I don't know if there's necessarily a hard target as far as numbers go. Like with these, like to me, since it is like we're building it anonymously, so like you can come request it, and you, like, that would be like my ultimate goal, dream of success is like whenever you see people are querying our data platform a whole lot and we have no idea who they are, and they don't even tell us that they're doing it, and we have to sort of go dig around. Whenever you're like that level of a standard, that like it's so easy to use, the people are just coming in and using it, they're not telling you, they're pulling it and they're trying to stay anonymous. Those would be the fun ones. Like whenever you don't make a partnership announcement because it's obvious you use Tellor. That's like the level that you want to get to for success. But I mean, at the moment, if you get, if we could get like a handful of users, even 5 users that are just actual good users requesting on a daily basis, we'd be really happy with that number.
I mean, even if you take the 5 best projects in DeFi, that's most of DeFi just there on one hand, and so it's a real small space,
Yeah, I mean, you say like 1 million users, like how many DeFi protocols are there? Like, yeah. I mean, like seriously, like there's
no, I'm not joking. Yeah, that's why I ask it.
People that need an Oracle, like probably like 30 right now. Yeah. It's like total in Ethereum. And that's why it's a slow process. These are the 30 companies. You don't really want to make the assumption that those 30 companies that are doing well now are going to be the 30 that are doing well in 2 years, because that's probably not going to be the case. So you want to make sure that you're picking up new customers. And also with these 30 companies, like there's just a handful of them. We go meet them. You go talk to them. Yeah. These are personal relationships you got to develop with these people, that if you're going to get them to trust a key component of their architecture kind of in your code, you need them to trust you. You need them to kind of believe in your philosophy. And that's really where we see it. That's kind of our strategy with it, getting these. It's not this fast, you can go do ads kind of strategy. It's, let's work with you guys. Let's build. We want to make some changes on our end. We want you guys to make some changes on your end over a few, quarters, even just to make the whole space make more sense. And that's what we're working to do.
Thanks for the answer. The second question on my side is more technical in some sense, and is this one. So any platform that use oracles at the end recognize that could be some sort of single point of failure using a single provider as Oracle. So actually we just see basically providers for Oracle services, but we are not seeing something like a platform as a service. So we see just single deployments of the various Oracle systems. So I see the Chainlink system, the Tellor system, the Oracleized system. So if I am a lending provider or a platform that need an Oracle, maybe I will will for sure develop my own Oracle system just to load balance or introduce some sort of fault tolerance between oracles. So what could be, it's an open question, what could be the solution? Having separate deployments of the various platforms, have some sort of aggregators of oracles, or what could be the solution to don't, because Oracle is so important that a lot of platforms reinvent the wheel every time. So using a single system, it's not obviously the solution. What's in the middle? I don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah. Even as for our protocol, we did not use a single, source of data. We would ping at least 2 different sources. And what we've done now, back in, I think we started it at DevCon, we started the Alliance of Decentralized Oracles, which includes several of us in the space. I don't know if I could say their names.
Yeah, you don't need to. But
okay, but it's just a bunch of the oracles that we're working together to actually create something towards what you were just discussing, where we're standardizing the way that we provide data to users, so that way they can just either use and aggregate all of the oracles, or at least ping each one of them easily, because it's going to be the same call, and then you just switch oracles or use an aggregation of them. And I think that, so we're doing that to provide a standard for our users to make it easier for everybody to be able to use it as secure price feed or data feed.
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. So we are working on that already. We're working towards, hopefully by the summer, having something out there that will be marketing for everybody, and hopefully that will become the standard for not just, for just all the new users in general.
This is, I think, Simone, a very big insight. This is very, I think that as soon as the...
for a while, so
we'll
reach consensus at some point, because there is a lot of...
You guys can go, we have an EIP out on our GitHub, so you guys can go, we're working with them to put out just a standard Oracle, like you price for this ID and it brings back this, and then if you can query us, Chainlink, Quitnet, anyone, and it's all the same. That's like, it's gonna work.
EIP 2362, I believe. So check it out. It's on the
2360. What's the number?
2362.
Okay, great. We will go to investigate more about this, but it's very, I think that as soon as the ecosystem is more mature, standards should emerge. It's like temperature, to be honest.
To be honest, like when I first found out that there was no way to get data from off-chain, I was just, to me at least, it was very surprising. It's like, so we built all of these systems, but this infrastructure that is absolutely needed by everybody, it's just missing.
No one thought about it or was busy to do other stuff.
It's exciting to see it develop now.
Yeah, that's great. I think that we finished all the answers from our community and also our personal ones, me and Simone. Simone, do you have any other question?
No, it's fine. And I think that the guys give you really a wide explanation about the project and the market. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Happy to answer any questions anytime. So feel free to reach out, and hopefully you guys join our community soon.
Yeah, for sure. We didn't opt for translating seamlessly the stuff, because at the end we saw that we spoke a little bit with a little bit with Simone, and the question could be longer, like you see, because Oracle is a very interesting word. But for sure we will provide a translation, maybe with subtitles or other stuff, to our community. I think that most of them knows English, but it's always nice to have a translation in your mother language. So that's all. And guys, it was a big pleasure for us, and good luck.
Good luck, guys. And I know that there are some token holders in our community. Sometimes they ask, and we are with you guys. So thank you very much. Thank you.
It was great talking to you.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao, ciao. Bye, bye.